Hey guys, here I am. I'm at home. You can tell from my background. I want to thank all of you for your prayers and your notes and your letters of concern. I'm sorry, I'm shaking the table. I want to thank all of you for your prayers, notes, and letters of concern. It really means a lot to me. So I just thought I'd just kind of tell you what happened, just so that you know, not so that you can weigh in as a doctor or an expert on anything, because I think I have it under control with my specialists. I think we're going to get to the bottom of it, or at least get me some relief. So basically, I've had these migraines for the last 3 months. And as far as I can tell, even from my YouTube channel, they seem to be seasonal. They seem to start around the beginning of January and they seem to go through March and then they stop. And I don't know what that is. The only thing I can think of it is it has to be something environmental. And that makes me wonder if it's our heating with the wood stoves that's causing it. The truth is, I'm allergic to trees. So I guess there is a very high possibility that the smoke from the trees that I'm allergic to is causing my brain to inflame from an allergic reaction, which then might be causing all of these migraine issues, particularly this year in my eye, and these brain blips that have been happening and concerning me so much. So that's part of it. So the other night I had a brain blip, and it was a pretty significant one. Now, these brain blips last 1 second. They're this momentary transient feeling that you're going to black out. And to me, they always happen right up here in my head. So sometimes you just have this pass out feeling. Other times I have just a little energy in my nerves, or it feels like a seizure for lack of an ability to explain it, but it's very quick. It's like a burp. And that happened to me the other night. I had had a good day. I had no headache that day. I was out in the sun, and the light from the sun wasn't triggering anything. And so I thought, well, this is a good day. And I was calm, and I came home and I was sitting in front of the TV. I had just had a little bit of ice cream, which then ice cream always worries me that that's going to give me, a coronary. So I know a little bit too much about eating healthy. So anytime I eat something bad, I kind of think, oh no. So anyway, I had this little blip, and then it was enough to startle me, and it caused a little bit of shortness of breath. I had this little anxiety attack. But at that moment, I didn't know if I was having an anxiety attack or if I was having a heart attack, like a little mini heart attack. My dad and my sister both died of sudden death. And it was pretty unexplained. For my dad, they explained it as VFib, which is the bottom chamber of your heart shutting down and just taking you out. It was a basic heart attack. And my sister, we believe, also had a heart attack. But we don't have any explanation, really. So ever since that's happened, you can imagine that I've been scared. I've been scared that there's this family history, that it's going to take me out. I'm scared because while I control my diet really pretty well, I don't control my diet the way I used to. I used to be vegan, and I was very strict. And I didn't really go off the path for 7 years, and I was feeling great. And I've veered off the path. I eat healthy most of the time. I'd say 80% of the time. And then especially since COVID, I've had my, I would really like this piece of pizza, or, I'm going to eat that piece of cake, or, I don't do it a lot, but, it's enough to worry me that maybe I'm setting myself up for heart issues. So my doctor, a year ago, a year ago, I had an experience that my heart started racing. It was after I received a vaccination, and my heart was racing, and I felt really sick, and I was afraid I was having a heart attack. So they rushed me to the hospital, and they did every test in the book, and they sent me back and said, I can find nothing wrong with your heart. So I said, okay. but my heart had been racing. So when I went to the doctor a few months later, she said, let's check out your heart and get a stress test. And so I got a stress test, and then they said, let's call you back and get an echo stress. And so I'm like, okay. So I went back and got an echo stress. And it turned out fine. There was absolutely nothing wrong with my heart that they could see. But I still wasn't convinced, because I thought, well, I don't know what killed my sister and my dad, so maybe, that's going to happen to me. So I'm always living on that edge. And the last time I went to the doctor with a whole list of concerns, she said to me, you have PTSD. And I said, yeah, I know, I do. There is no way to not have PTSD when your dad drops dead, your aunt gets this long-term illness and you watch her die. And as soon as she's dead, your sister drops dead. One of your best friends dies of breast cancer, and COVID hits, and you end up with a brain tumor, and you have to have brain surgery. And 7 weeks later, you end up having gallbladder surgery. And then the day after gallbladder surgery, they have to take the 2 gallstones out of your bile duct. Now, that's scary stuff. That is just scary stuff. And I haven't been handling it well. I'm an extrovert. I do well when I'm out with people and out with friends. And of course, we all know that for the last 2 years, we have not had that really available to most of us. I've been very careful. For a year, we probably didn't see anybody, and except for when we could do it outside in the good months. And, we live in New England, so there's not that many good months. So I have been really careful. The other thing is that they're finding that long-term COVID comes from potentially asthma and the Epstein-Barr virus, both of which I have very active in my system. So, I've had a lot of fear. I'm just in a lot of fear. So when this blip happened the other night, fear just took over, and my blood pressure started going up, and I have high blood pressure, and I'm being treated for high blood pressure, but it went up higher than normal. It's usually down in a very acceptable range, but it went up high, and the more I checked it, the higher it went. And then I check it like every 5 minutes, and then it just kept going up, and then my heart rate was going up, and I was watching that, and I was having a panic attack. And I just thought, what if this blip was a prelude to a heart attack? And my daughter, God bless her, she's been working on her PhD for the last 6 years, and she's in biological oceanography. And she's basically studying the effects of climate change on the ocean. And that's a terrifying topic in and of itself. But during this whole time, she started it right after soon after my dad died. And then the whole time that my aunt was sick, and she's very close to my aunt. And then, of course, my sister, who she was very close to, died. And it was hard on her, as it was hard on me and so many other members of my family. So it's been hard for her to write her dissertation, and she's finally done writing her dissertation, and she's ready to defend it. And that's only like a week and a half away, or 2 weeks away. And here I have this episode, and I'm thinking, I cannot die. She will never get that PhD. I have so many reasons I have to stay alive, mostly for my family. And so I just thought I'd check it out, and I called the doctor's office, and they said, go in and have it checked out. So that's what I did. So they checked me out. They checked me out very thoroughly. They did all the blood tests. They had me monitored. They did everything. And then it was my choice to stay overnight in hospital. It wasn't because they felt that there was something that was going to go wrong with me. They were very confident to send me home. But I chose to stay and be monitored overnight just for safekeeping, and meet with a cardiologist the next day. And so that's what I did. The night before, I was fine in the hospital. Monitoring was fine, very normal. My heart rate was back down again. At most, my heart rate went up to like 105 or something. If I walked around, it was like 110. But it was more than my normal 60, 70 range, low 80s. So it was enough to say tachycardia. So anyway, I stayed overnight. There was absolutely no problem. I met with a cardiologist who is an excellent, excellent cardiologist. I love her. I felt like I wanted a woman cardiologist because I don't know, sometimes you don't get taken seriously by doctors when you're a woman, if it's not a woman doctor. Uh, it's not everybody, but some people. So uh, yeah, she is going to do some checking, but she was pretty confident that my heart is fine. And we're going to do some genetic testing and see, and that's kind of genetic electro testing. And I don't know what it all is. But whatever it is, it's going to be very thorough. And that's going to give me any answers if there's anything genetic, if there's a genetic component with my family, because that's what's concerned me. I just don't know. I don't know how my sister died, and I don't really know how my dad died. According to the doctor, it seems like my dad definitely was having heart attacks, and that's what took him. And at the age of 77, that's a very plausible cause for someone. My dad did take very good care of himself. He worked out, but we think he worked out too hard. He ate right. He was thin. He controlled his blood pressure. He did everything right, but sometimes age and genetics just get you, right? So that's the story of why I went in. And as far as my brain, I'm going to see the neurologist, have another MRI, check what happened in there, and talk to him about some of my symptoms and see if he just wants to do any further testing. It's not something I think is drastic, especially if it goes away again. It seems like these brain blips tend to come on and go away at whim. So, there might not be a whole lot to that. So all in all, guys, I think I'm in good health. It's just that I've had some real troublesome issues that have kept me in a place of panic. And I'm just going to be truthful about that. I have been panicking. I live in fight flight. Something falls on the floor and my heart probably races to 150 in that very second. I've always been a jumpy person, an anxious person, but since all those deaths and all those things that happened to me, I've been very jumpy. And yes, I am seeing a therapist. But when you start seeing a therapist, you kind of dig up everything. You're just kind of going through everything that's going on. So I think that that's put me in even a less stable place right now. Plus, honestly, insurance, my insurance is crappy, and we pay a lot of money a month, and it's $6,400 deductible. So, you're paying out of pocket for a whole lot. My husband is halfway employed, and yeah, it's stressful. It's just stressful. So that's the story. I'm being very honest with you guys because I know that so many of you struggle. And I know that it's easy to watch a YouTube channel and go, wow, this lady, she is so lucky. She has a beautiful house and she gets whatever she wants for the house and she decorates it so nice and she's this nice family and this nice husband and, life is wonderful. And there's a part of us that always wants to look at someone's life and go, oh yeah, wow. But again, it's kind of an illusion, right? I do have a wonderful house and I do love to decorate it. And I have been very fortunate to be able to do what I want with the house. But I struggle like everybody else. And that's the great thing about YouTube. We're not a Hollywood production. We're just real people getting through life. And so I love to give you a channel that you can just relax, have fun, enjoy the show, enjoy the decorating, dream, imagine, put yourself in my life. Just don't do it all the way because I've been kind of stressed lately. But anyway, that's the story. The bottom line is I don't think there's a thing wrong with my heart, guys. And I think that the speed of my heart the other night was genuinely pretty much a panic attack. But if it wasn't, we're going to get to the bottom of it. I'm not going to underestimate what could go wrong. But at the same time, I'm not going to overestimate what could be wrong. And so I'm feeling good about things. I'm feeling really happy that my headaches seem to have finally taken a turn to dissipate. I'm doing some things differently. I have been doing pretty much everything you can for migraines, but what I've been doing lately is I've been using a ball to roll out different muscles in my back. And I think that's helping a lot. Plus I'm rolling out muscles in my neck. And I'm doing this neck stretch that every day I kind of stretch it over something. because I've had a lot of tightness and pain in my shoulders and my back, which also concerned me that it could be heart. It doesn't seem to be heart because my monitor reading is fine no matter how much pain I'm in. So those are all things that give me a lot of calmness. And so I'd just like to talk to all of you. I know that there are so many of you who have lost loved ones and you're grieving just as I am. I know there's so many of you who have lost your health and you're grieving that just as I do. I know there are so many of you who watch me to get away from the problems of life, and I'm going to continue to give you that channel that gets away from the problems of life, because honestly, for me to even make it helps me get away from the problems of life. So we're all in this together, and I just wanted to say thank you for being such a supportive community, and I love you. And I'll keep you updated if anything else comes up. You know, I've got my MRI. They're gonna monitor me for 7 days in my regular life and see what that does. I suspect it won't show anything really, but if it does, they'll deal with it. And you know, I guess you don't get to be my age and not have any issues. I will say that I was the youngest person on the cardiac floor. Almost all of the doors on them said falling risk, you know, and they just said I could walk around in the hall. So, you know, that's both a blessing and a curse, but again, I put myself there, so it's okay. Anyway, you guys have a great day. I'm going to go now and I'm going to work on my podcast, and that will come out next week for you guys. If you watch it on video, it'll come out today or tomorrow for you all that listen to me on Apple and other podcast ways. And I am going to work on Country Bumpkins store tour. I did that last week, and so I want to get that out to you too. So love you all. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.